Welcome to Storyteller, a profile series highlighting the dreams, journeys, and achievements of our students, alumni, and supporters, presented by Doyon Foundation.
Thank you, Danielle, for meeting with me today. I'm the Scholarship Program Manager at Doyon Foundation, and my name is Kirsten Mill. If you'd like to introduce yourself first before we get started.
Hi, so thank you for having me today. My name is Danielle Stickman. I am Dena'ina Athabaskan. My mother is Karen Evanoff from Nundalton in Bristol Bay, and my father is Danny Stickman from Galena. And so I'm really happy to be here today and grateful to have this chat with you.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be able to interview you, so thank you for being able to join me today. Can you tell me a little bit about your educational journey?
Yeah, so I grew up in rural and urban areas of Alaska, and I went to high school in Anchorage, and I did something called the International Baccalaureate program, and found a few universities that really drew my attention. One of them was the University of Hawaii at Hilo. I really wanted to go there because it is one of the most diverse universities in the U.S. and it had a abundant array of environmental fields that I can choose from. So I chose to go there, and I had some issues trying to find a major in the first few years. So I tried English, political science, geography. I really wanted to do oceanography, but I didn't want to be limited to the work on the ocean. So I finally ended up choosing environmental science because like I said, I grew up in rural and urban areas of Alaska with the deep cultural values of interdependence and respect for the earth and all living beings. And when I say respect, I mean treating the animals, earth, waters, everything with the same love I share with my family. And so my parents would share stories of how to be in nature during different seasons and times of day, and how to be part of community, and also how to pay respect to the mountains, animals, and waters, and how to behave in nature, which really resonated with the Hawaiian values that I was learning at the university. And so those stories taught me how humans play a role in the ecosystem and how we can either keep the balance or tip the scale, and also based on how we treat the environment, animals, and each other. And so growing up with these values, along with subsistence practices and an ingrained love of the outdoors, I knew I wanted to work in the environmental field. And so I had done fisheries internships in high school with the Hutton Junior Fisheries Program through the American Fisheries Society. But I wanted more options than fisheries. So I'm happy with the choice that I made with landing on environmental science.
Wow, that's so amazing. What school did you graduate from? What degree did you receive? And what year did you graduate in?
So I graduated from the University of Hawaii at Hilo in 2010 with a bachelor's of science in the environmental science field.
What are you doing now, and what do you hope to accomplish with your career work?
So I recently was appointed as the deputy director for the Alaska State Deputy Director for the Wilderness Society, and I received that position in August. So I'm really looking forward to this position. It's just been about 2 months, and the Wilderness Society is slightly shifting just from the new administration's guidance and really moving into the future in a different way. So they really value how I work and how I'm guided by my cultural values and of conservation and community. And there was a time that I didn't want to be in this leadership role, especially in a conservation organization. But I feel like there's all the trainings and experiences and people who have helped me on my career path and in my academic career have led me to this position. And so I really want to protect areas of Alaska for future generations to enjoy. And part of that is also reflecting on the past and really reflecting on how my grandparents took care of the earth and how they practice sustainability, but also how our world and environment has shifted and how to adapt those practices to today. So as I am in this new role and thinking of the future and our new guidelines, and I really remember those who came before me and those who are walking with me and those who will come after. And I really hope to build really good relationships with people that we've worked with before and those that we haven't, really expand the work we've done. And so I'm not really sure on how the programs I'm working with will unfold, but I'm really excited because I bring all these different ideas from my cultural upbringing and then also the holistic trainings that I've done.
What was your biggest challenge you faced in your educational journey, and how did you overcome it?
So one of the biggest challenges I've faced, especially in the environmental science field, there are a lot of scholarships in this field, which was great. I would manage to graduate debt free, which was wonderful. But one of the things I really didn't learn in college and in academia was how a lot of the environmental science fields are kind of very dominated by people not of color. So, and in fisheries, especially, since I had experience in fisheries, those were the jobs that I was able to get right after college. Um, and so I experienced systematic racism, and it was very subtle, and also gender roles. It was very subtle on how I was treated, not only as a woman, but an Indigenous woman in the science field. I know a lot of times my experience and educational background was doubted. So I really struggled with confidence in this field because a lot of times in meetings I would be the only person of color or the only woman. So I doubted myself a lot. But as I continued the work and met wonderful people, I realized that it's not any one individual's fault on how our systems are built, and especially in the scientific world, because we put so much value on Western knowledge and in Indigenous knowledge. I have strived to make an effort that it's equal to the Western science. And so I think that was the biggest challenge, was gaining confidence in myself in a field that was not really that did not really prepare me for what I was going into. So yeah, I think that was the biggest challenge.
Thank you for sharing that. Do you plan on continuing your education in the future, and if so, when?
So my continued education has differed than going and getting a master's degree. I've thought about that before, but I've done a lot of different trainings to kind of build up my experience in leadership, and also just a general understanding of how to interact with people and facilitate discussions. So Doyon has helped me since I graduated college with various trainings that range from yoga teacher training. So I've gotten about 500 hours of yoga teacher training, along with having opportunities to do leadership programs, which also involves leadership anchorage, which is based in Anchorage, and Salmon Fellows, which is a statewide initiative. And then I've done about 3 or 4 facilitation trainings since 2010, which has helped me very much in this field of work. And in my academic career in college, they shared some on sociology and how to interact with people, but the trainings that I've gotten since college has helped me greatly in understanding how people work and how not just work, but also how we connect with each other. And in most cases, when we're meeting for like an end goal for specific meetings, we can tend to forget about interacting with each other on a personal level and really getting to know the person we're working with. And also leaning into uncomfortable conversations. And a lot of this work, it's full of conflict. Everybody comes with their own backgrounds and different experiences and motivations. And so it's really helped me mediate conversations and not really be driven by emotion in difficult conversations, but really be grounded and also have an open mind to seeing other people's perspectives. So in continuing my education, the long answer is I plan to in different trainings that really draw me in. But as far as a master's program or further, that's not on my horizon right now, but it's not to say it won't be.
Apart from school and work, what other activities or community involvement do you enjoy?
I enjoy hiking, and I really want to build up my mountaineering skills to do a bigger hike. So I'm planning on doing some longer backpacking trips this winter. I enjoy beading. I have the salmon skins that I tan with my mom in the background, and I have a small business called Dena'ina Dreams, and it's just a small beading business for dream catchers and earrings. And I also teach yoga on the side when I can, and yeah, those are the 3 main things that come to mind in how I'm involved in the community.
Oh, that's so cool. What kind of support did you receive from Doyon Foundation, and how did it help you as a student?
So the support I received was in college. So I received large funds throughout my college career, which really helped me stay committed to college all throughout it. So I received funding through scholarships throughout my college career, and then also for the trainings. Several of the trainings that I've done, I've been able to receive funding, which has been crucial to all the experiences that I've had. If I didn't have this opportunity from Doyon, I don't think I would have done half the things I did. And so I really appreciate the support that Doyon has provided, and also just checking in. It's been wonderful.
You shared that you do have a beading business, but I wanted to ask, what does your culture or native language play in your life?
So beading, and I also write, and eventually lofty goal is to write a book of poetry. I've got pages and pages. So beading, writing, yoga, I see it as a necessity to the health of my well-being. And so the practice of staying still, it doesn't necessarily just sitting still. I see it as meditation through movement. And our people had various ways of meditating and connecting with the land. And so I'm both Dena'ina and Koyukon Athabaskan. My grandma Jessie Stickman from my dad's side. She was Koyukon Athabascan, and she was an expert beader, and she really encouraged all her granddaughters to bead, and she left us patterns, and she was so skilled in detail and color, and she instilled in us the importance of staying still and focusing on one task at a time, and really grasping that practice, because it also enhances patience. And so, and then on my Dena'ina side, my grandmother would knit, and she would storytell in the Dena'ina Athabascan language, and she really valued storytelling. And so in my beadwork, I have started to name each art piece that I make with a Dena'ina phrase that I feel like that piece represents, and trying to get that name and phrase correct. I reach out to my mother, who's an anthropologist, and she has connections with linguists, and really trying to instill the Dena'ina language into the work that I do. And the reason why it's called Dena'ina Dreams is because my culture is matrilineal. So my dad moved to Nundalton when my mom and dad got married, and these are the lands. This is the language that I do with my beadwork, and it's also made on traditionally stewarded lands of the Dena'ina people here in Anchorage. And so I'm also realizing the value of story in the work that I do, and how much I missed out on when my grandmothers were still around, asking them stories. And so I do a lot of referencing to the books. I have a Koyukon dictionary and a Dena'ina dictionary that I refer to a lot. Sorry, these answers are so long.
It's okay. I think you're getting a great point across, so thank you for that, for sharing more. Do you have any words of advice or encouragement for our students today?
Yes. Take some time to really reflect on what success looks like to you. I know we're in a time where success looks like a variety of different things, but I've realized success is what we make of it. And so I didn't plan to get the position that I did, and it just kind of arrived. And so, and it's based on the values and the passions that I've had throughout my career and throughout my life, and taking time away from people advising, or academia, or really people trying to tell you what your next step should be. Take time to go out in nature, or just or subsistence hunting and fishing, or just taking time away from the hustle and bustle of daily life to reflect on what success looks like to you, and really how would you want to live your life? What does a fun work day look like? What would you want to accomplish in that work day? And really, what drives your passions day in and day out? And enjoy having fun. Really, in the work that I've done, it can get quite serious at times, and then a few years ago I realized that we're all here to do the best we can, but that doesn't mean we don't have to put fun on the pause. And so, yeah, I invite those here listening to this to take time to write down your dream job or your dream life. What does it look like, and what does it feel like? What would it take for you to get there and sustain it? And realizing that anything is possible with intention and hard work. And I'm really grateful for Doyon and the support that Doyon has provided. Everything I could have imagined in my life, in the work world, it has always come true. So let your version of success be your compass, and remember, you never need a reason to smile.
Is there anything else you would like to mention today?
No, I think that's it.
Okay, well, thank you, Danielle. You are a wealth of knowledge and so inspirational. I'm just so excited to see the lasting impact, especially on our Indigenous women in the science field. So thank you for your advice. I'm sure it will mean a lot, especially because a lot of our students will be able to relate. And we started brainstorming these Zoom sessions because we want to hear from our students and we want them to be able to connect on a different level that I can't provide. And just hearing these students from these different fields will be really helpful. So thank you so much for being here today. And I'm just so excited to see the outcome of this. And you were so amazing to interview. And I just loved hearing your story. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, I do have one more thing. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. I forgot this. One more thing. I encourage taking the time to listen to elders and children without comment. So that was one thing in the trainings and that I've learned, is to really listen. And especially in the work that I've done around the state, interviewing elders and also children. They have a wealth of knowledge and just a different level of connecting with each other that I think in between ages we forget. And our world can be so overbearing with words and questions that we forget to truly listen to each other. And I really value the time I had with elders who have passed. They taught me to listen to the land, the weather, and my internal compass. So when we know how to listen well, we can listen to ourselves and others and really make good decisions. And that's all I'll add. So thank you.
For more Storyteller profiles, visit doyonfoundation.com/storyteller.